Okay, what up ladies and gents? It's your favorite Asian robot right here. Hopefully, one of your favorite official content creators for the First Descendant. Now, today I'm going to go through Nell's farming build, and I was supposed to release this video yesterday, but I had some family stuff to take care of, so I'm so sorry about that. You get it today, alright? Nell is an amazing character right now. She's very, very strong, but you need to understand how she works. So, this video is going to take you through all that. I'm going to teach you how to use her, teach you how to build her, and then demonstrate her in the Axion Plains, which is where everybody is currently being tested. Okay? Great. Now let's get started. But before we do, if you haven't already done so, and if you like my content, make sure to register me as your content creator. Link is in the video description. Also, if you haven't already done so, check out some of my music on SoundCloud. SoundCloud is currently paying me, alright? So all you need to do is play my tracks on SoundCloud. This is all my original music. Play my tracks, get me paid, it's free. Literally no cost to you, alright? So thank you very much if you decide to do that. I'm RealAsianRobot on SoundCloud. Let's get started with this video. So, what you need to understand first about Nell is how she works. I'll just summon a quick Vulgus, but what Nell does is that when she scans the target, they'll receive a mark. When they receive a mark, your first skill will generate suspicion. When you generate enough suspicion, you use your fourth skill. Based on the number of suspicion stacks that you have, you will summon those shards and then blast them all at the enemy. Alright? Excuse me. That is how Nell works, in a nutshell. Gather suspicion by hitting the target with your first skill, then use the suspicion, generate shards, and blast them with your fourth skill. The fourth skill is used against bosses, elites, commanders, all that kind of stuff. First skill is used on everything. Alright? Your second skill, even if a sieve scan, will not generate suspicion, but it's a pretty good AoE that can be used to drag all enemies together. So use that if you want to, okay? Alright. Now I'll eliminate the Vulgus. Let's get into this. Let me show you, now that you understand how to play Nell, let me show you how to actually build Nell. Alright, so here we go. Gotta remove my cam. Bing. Okay. First and foremost, what you are going to need is a non-attribute tech reactor. Why? Nell's main damage skills, Breach Spike and End of Suspicion, are tech-based skills. You want to benefit these the most. Your second and third skill are fusion-based, alright? But I prefer not to spec into them because they do enough on their own, okay? So just take note of that. So you're going to need a non-attribute tech reactor with skill cooldown, and if you're going to kill bosses, get additional skill attack when fighting Colossi, or if you are going to use her purely for farming, please get either tech skill power boost or skill critical hit damage. Why skill critical hit damage? Nell has a 100% critical hit rate with my build. Okay, it's a bit overkill, but I prefer to overkill, and I feel that it works better, but if you feel that it doesn't, you know, that's up to you. But this is what I've done. And although it is a bit overkill, I prefer her this way, okay? So that's what I did, and that's why I would recommend skill cooldown, skill critical hit damage, or tech skill power boost for your reactor, okay? All right, now that you understand the reactor, let's move on. External components, you need a full set of Enlightened Mage, okay? The core roles and stats are as follows. For the auxiliary power, take a screenshot, it's this. For the sensor, it's this, okay? For the memory, it's this. And for the processor, it's this. Okay? These are the same stats that you would have used on Jaber, so there should be no difference in your components. If you've already built the Jaber build, it's exactly the same. If not, you can take screenshots and you're good to go. Okay? That about covers it for the external components and the reactor. Now, weapon. This is crucial. For your weapon, you're going to need the Secret Garden. Why? You are using tech-based skills, so you can trigger pest control. Pest controls give you skill power per stack. All right? And this is so good because it is a base skill power boost, which multiplies with your non-attribute, which then multiplies with your tech skill power. So you're getting all this power up, and it's beautiful. So Secret Garden is your weapon of choice. Now, for the Secret Garden build, you can actually just use any build. Like, this is the same build that I have for Freyna. You can take a screenshot if you want, all right? But the build you have on it is not as important as the unique ability. You need to max out the unique ability of the Secret Garden. Make sure you've gotten all your 4 copies, okay? So that your unique ability is at max power. For the rolls and everything, you can take this, all right? This is the combat version of the Secret Garden. If you want to use it as more of a speed stick, okay, here are the rolls. This is the speed stick variant of the Secret Garden, which I have. It'll make her a little bit faster to move around the field, but at the end of the day, the choice is yours, what you want to do with it, okay? So this is what I've got. This is how I built up Nell. All right, now, the next thing you will need to understand is you've already understood the weapon, reactor, external components. Next on the list is her actual modules. So let's get into it. For her modules, this build is what you want. Why? Let's go through it. Okay. Transcendent module is Shattered Heart. This is what gives her the suspicion and all that. Okay, without this, you can have a problem. Now, sub-attack is mid-air maneuvering. All right. Now, for her modules, her only survival is increased hit points. Okay? You don't need more survival than that. For cooldowns, you will want to have Nimble Fingers, okay, and MP Conversion, as always. So Nimble Fingers, MP Conversion, standard cooldown modules. Focus on non-attribute, focus on tech. These will give you even more cooldowns. So there's no reason not to have this. Because you want your breach spikes to cool down as quickly as possible. And you want your End of Suspicion to cool down as quickly as possible. So these are all necessary. Then, skill expansion. This is for more range. Take note that Nell's max expandable range is 200%. So you only need skill expansion. You do not need any other range modules. Okay? Great. Then, after that, 4 crit modules. Skill Insight, Concentration, Frontlines, Emergency Measures. Why Skill Insight? Okay, let me show you. Without it, Nell only has a skill critical hit rate of 67%. This is insufficient. Even with Arche tuning, all right, let's just use a blank spot just to show you. Even with Arche tuning getting you this extra crit, without Skill Insight, Nell is stuck at 78.5. So this overall is no good, right? So unfortunately, in order to receive 100% crit rate, you have to take Skill Insight. Then, although Frontlines only contributes 27.7% skill critical hit damage, it's still a big damage contribution. So this extra 64.6% skill critical hit rate is unnecessary. Without it, you are already at 96.285%. So you're basically overkilling the skill critical hits. But I resolved that in a very different way. All right. So I resolved that in a different way. I still use this build, but my actual Arche tuning, not this one, but the actual Arche tuning that I use doesn't use any of these enhanced nodes, allowing me to grab more skill power as well as still increasing my skill critical hit damage. So we'll go through that in a little while, but that's basically the reason why I have Nell's module set up like this. All right. Now, last but not least, let's talk about the trigger module. Okay. For the trigger module, there is no other choice other than Power Beyond. Why no other choice other than Power Beyond? Why are you ignoring 14% extra skill power? This is crazy. Now, Death by 1,000 Cuts also works somewhat well. If you take a look at Nell's skill, okay, this one is a piercing projectile and a multi-explosive projectile. So it actually gives you 10 stacks of Death by 1,000 Cuts. This one is the same. So, or is it 10 stacks or 6 stacks? Hang on, let me just double check. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Okay, so yeah, so it only gives you 6 stacks, sorry. It doesn't take into account both, all right? So it will only take into account the highest, which is the piercing projectile. So every 2 casts of this, you will hit Death by 1,000 Cuts. So you cast this twice, and Death by 1,000 Cuts triggers, okay? So a lot of people saying, why not use Death by 1,000 Cuts over Power Beyond? 15% skill power increase is pretty darn good. But I prefer that because during farming, I also make use of these other skills. All right. So the choice is really yours. The timing difference between both of them is surprisingly not that much. It's less than you might think. So for me personally, I went with Power Beyond. But don't let that stop you from using Death by 1,000 Cuts. It's also pretty badass, as you've just seen. All right? So don't hesitate to try this. Okay. That should be it. Okay. Now that you understand her modules, trigger modules, weapons, external components, reactor, let's talk about Inversion Reinforcer. For Nell, I went with Focus Boost. Lowering skill cost is always good, okay? And the focus rounds is just to debuff the enemy, as always. Then selective neurostimulation is MP recovery every 45 seconds. This is a no-brainer. That's it. That's your Inversion Reinforcer. Standard build here. Doesn't need anything special. Arche tuning. Okay. Now this is where it got interesting. I went down the right-hand side and went up first to capture cooldowns. Then I went here to capture non-attribute cohesion. The reason why we don't use defense neutralization is, as a viewer recently taught me, defense neutralization, defense doesn't apply to skills, only weapon damage. So because defense doesn't apply to skills, we can't use defensive neutralization anymore. And that is why I'll also be adjusting my Jaber build for you guys. Jaber has other problems as well, but I'll cover that in my updated video. Anyway, non-attribute cohesion for farming gives her the best bang for your buck. For bossing, you might want to try fusion tech tuning. Why? When you use a tech skill, you get raw skill power of another 4.7%, which is pretty darn good. So I don't see a reason why you should not have this. That is what has worked beautifully for me, but the choice is yours, okay? So this is what works for me, but you can choose whatever you want, okay? Anyway, coming back to the farming stuff, I went up here, grabbed the mutant cell, then I got the skill critical hit damage, and finally I improved the range and got enhanced skill power. This gave me the best overall power for Nell, but if you've got something better, you know, you can either use it yourself or suggest it. It's up to you, but this is what I use, and it works beautifully, okay? Okay, that I think covers everything. Now, can we go to the world map? Is it possible to go to the world map? No, we can't. Okay. We have to return to Albion. But now that I'm done showing you the build and explaining everything in it, let's actually see it in action. Let's actually see the build in action. Don't worry. I muted that one. Sorry. Sometimes my lungs go against me, but, you know, that's the health cost sometimes of doing what I do. Okay, so same loadout, everything. All right, you understand everything in here. If there's anything you don't understand, don't hesitate to ask in the comments. Let's go directly to the Axion Plains, and we will do this in private just so that you guys can get a taste of what we do. Okay, AX Refinery, that's the one. So we'll go to an operational area, obviously, because if I did the demonstration in an area that's not an operational area, that's just not cool. That being said, the Axion Plains now has been optimized after today's patch, so it's really, really good, and it looks so beautiful. I don't know what they did to update the graphics, but it just looks beautiful. Oh, whoops. We're not in private. My bad. Sorry, I thought I went private, but I have to travel to an outpost now to change it to private. My apologies for that. I don't know why I didn't select that. Maybe it's because nowadays I'm so used to going to public. I didn't even think about that. But my apologies for the slight delay. Okay, we're now in private. Let's go to the AX Refinery. We'll just teleport to the teleporter. It's a short journey, thankfully. No loading time. Okay. Now, the Orca is still one of my favorites, but the Vortex is faster, of course. Let's zoom over. I just love the control of the Orca. Okay, let's begin the mission straight away.
A large cluster of breach creatures has been detected in the area.
Now, usually what I'll do is I'll put that down and I'll start scanning.
Please confirm.
I'll scan a target and blast it.
You're in my way.
Targets that you blast and kill will spread the scan to other targets. So,
Focus special assault
you can
ship
spread the scan
identified.
everywhere. Now, Nell can also take down these ships. FYI, try to scan them for the additional damage, and she can do some hilarious stuff. Just like that. Alright, I like to put this down at my feet, and then I'll scan and blast targets just like that. It feels really, really good. There you go. There you go. You can also vacuum them up if you
Special
want.
assault ship spotted.
As long as you've got suspicion stacks, though, don't hesitate to use your suspicion to blast the ships out of the sky, if you want to. Alright? It honestly feels pretty good being able to do that. Now we move on.
Descendant, there is a tactical objective which needs to be destroyed. Requesting confirmation.
Now remember that because Nell actually fires multiple projectiles, and they're quite wide, you will have to, it's best if you jump. Try and, like, when terrain is uneven, your projectile may hit the ground. So just be aware of that, okay? That's why I try to avoid
Descendant, a
doing it
tactical
when it's too
objective
close to the
needs
ground.
protection. Please
Breach swarm
respond.
sack, insta-gone. Okay, we'll put this little thing here. Getting rid of the
Descendant, a
tunnels.
powerful attack will take down the assault ship. Please engage. Picking up void mutant signals. Be careful.
Boom shakalaka. Now if a void mutant spawns, don't sweat it too much. Here's what you do to it. You hit it with the breach shards, hit it with your breach spikes, and you're good. You are the queen of the breach, and none of the others can compare. Just be sure to spread your receive scan as much as you can. You're good. Oh man, your spikes, sorry, your suspicion shards or whatever, don't have as much range as your spikes. I don't know why that's the case, even with the range module on, but just do be aware of that. They do have a relatively close range limit, so I tend to spam them only when I'm sure of a hit. Like so. Okay, that's all clear. Now this will go a lot faster with other people, but I always do these demos solo so that you guys can see
There's a tactical objective that requires protection.
how strong
Please
the character
confirm.
is. Boom.
Target subdued. Boldest special assault ship spotted. You're in my way. Picking up void mutant signals. Be careful. My shields need to recharge.
Please remember to pick up MP every once in a while. Alright?
You're in my way.
You cannot cast forever. You still require mana points.
Target subdued.
Although considering we're using Arche, I still don't know why they didn't call it AP.
This is easy.
Because we're not using magic here. We're using Arche.
This is easy. Primary tactical objective confirmed. I can do. Requesting search and destroy.
Okay, when it comes to boss time, here's what you do. Open with the spikes, the boss will die. Then, when it achieves its second form,
My shields need to
start getting some damage on it. Give it some suspicion.
target subdued.
Hit it with some more damage. And it will die. Okay? There you go. Nell wins. Fatality. And that's it. That's how Nell plays. She's not going to be quite as fast as Ness, but solo, she can really handle it. She's as fast as Jaber, and she's honestly badass. In teams, you are the one that takes out the bosses and the ships and everything. Ines can take out most of the trash mobs, and you can go so fast in these missions. Alright, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it was good and informative to you guys. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing if you do. Don't forget to register me as your creator. Don't forget to check out my music on SoundCloud. Remember, RealAsianRobot on SoundCloud. Alright? And last but not least, thank you to all of our top supporters for August. I know this list is a day old. The new list will be up soon. But thank you so much to these lovely people. You guys are the ones keeping this channel alive. You guys are the ones helping us stay in business. Thank you for all that you do for me. And don't worry, I'll see you guys on the next one. Appreciate all these lovely people. And see you guys next time. Let me know if you enjoyed the build. And I'll catch you on the next one.